The Pod Bay Door, a Las Vegas podcast. As I get more and more back into what I do for a living, I will be more and more exposed, if you will, to people not following the rules. And that does bother me in advance. It's on my mind.
Yeah.
But I have never felt unsafe in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, of course, we would all like this to be over. We'd all like it never to have happened. Right. But it did, and it's still here, and we can't ignore it as much as there's certain people in power who want us to, don't look behind the curtain. Well, I remember when we worked at the Venetian, and there was some woman, boy, she was a pain in the ass, but she worked there, but she knew, whenever, don't do that. Adelson will blow a gasket. You have to fix this here. Like she was his expert. I thought Adelson blows a gasket over anything. Yeah. That's what he does. Yeah. So you're not enlightening us on anything that, you need to polish this, so you have to do that. And
he doesn't have any gaskets to blow.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Still though. So it's episode 116.
Yeah.
We're
Sweet
slowly,
16.
Yeah, right.
And 100.
We're slowly getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed everybody's comments and statements and so on and so forth. So I put together our what did I do? Top 10, John? What did I do? Top 10. Yes. And no particular order. I'll try to shout out the folks, their name and where they came from. But we got a couple of good ones.
All right, good.
And they're all directed at you now.
Yeah, calling us names.
Yeah, right. All right, number one, you mentioned on another podcast, Golden Knights masks.
Yeah. And
are they still available? This comes from Clint on Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
They are available. I don't know where on a retail level they're for sale. I actually had a friend of a friend who was very industrious. She actually works in a whole different industry, and she was on hiatus, for a while. Yeah. And said, what the hell, I'll make some masks. And she makes a good mask, actually. I have them. I have two of the Golden Knights ones. I purchased some for family members, and they're all the same quality. They're good. So, are they still available? Yes, they are. I know you can get them at the logo stores throughout the city when they're open. Yeah. It's a very limited time that they're open.
Might be available online, you think? Maybe
could be available online. I've not checked the Amazon, the Zon.
Yeah.
But if you desperately want a Golden Knights one, leave a comment. Send an email. It's podbaydorlv at gmail.com. Sorry. And I will do my best to do that. They have been $10 a piece, which from what I understand is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of styles. There's a gray with the black logo and an all black and a combination. But if you're interested in one of those, just like I said, connect to me somehow, email, comment, and I will be glad to communicate with you on their availability.
Now, what I haven't seen, and I'd like to, because it's even the Golden Knights logo is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yeah. But I think even better, they have a new hockey team coming. We're getting the minor league team, the AHL, which will be the Golden Knights minor league team. They're going to play in Henderson. Yes. And they are going to be called the Henderson Silver Knights, which makes actually more sense because
what everybody thought it should have been.
Yeah, they're the Silver State.
Yeah.
So they have a really nice logo too, because they've taken, it looks like the V for Vegas, and it looks like the guy's mask. Well, the H looks like the mask that a horse wears.
Oh.
Yeah, so they have the H. Okay. It's in silver. Looks nice. I've seen mock-ups of that. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, we'll keep track of that for you guys as well. So Clint, thanks for that off of Facebook. Number two, are they this, I kind of laughed at this, but then I thought to myself, yes, that should happen. And of course it's not.
Yeah.
Are they Janie, from the Twitter, said, are they social distancing parking spaces?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. Are they?
I have not
think
experienced any social distance markers for parking.
Yeah.
But if the social distancing in general is any cue, they'll ignore that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of social distancing happening right now, except for the people that are concerned. And honestly, the people that are concerned are not going to be in the casino.
Yeah.
So I don't
the
think
ones
so.
who are concerned aren't traveling.
Yeah, there is a plethora of information, signage, sandwich signs, stickers, floor things, and that you cannot get past it as it regards what the casino is trying to do and suggest as far as social distancing.
Yeah, I mean, if they're wearing masks and things, people are doing that, and they're trying to get you to do that. But
it's all a suggestion.
Yeah.
With the exception of what the casino and hotels and restaurants have to do by law.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a suggestion, and we'll talk about this more.
Yeah.
But I think John has to agree. And this is not this is true in all cities and states. People are really not doing a good job.
No.
Yeah.
And now they do know that the virus is more likely to spread indoors than outdoors.
Yes.
So, usually, people are more spread out outdoors. Yeah, and that's probably why. But of course, here in Las Vegas, you get in areas where it's crowded, even if you are outdoors.
Yeah.
But then when you go indoors and, hey, the people who you probably have at least worried about are the people who work there because they are behind glass or they're wearing masks or gloves or what have you. But it's a guy that bumped into you with his foot-long margarita, right? Exactly. And how it is when people drink, they all of a sudden, like, you can't drink when you got the mask on anyway, right? So you're going to take that off, and then it's just like, this thing's a nuisance.
Yeah, mask fatigue is real. I mean, by the end of the day, I'm ready to throw that off.
Yeah.
But I wear it. I wear it as a courtesy for others, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I wear mine when I'm out.
Let me ask you a question. Did you, you're a follower of all that is rock music?
Yeah.
I heard Steve Sharippa. And he's an actor. He's actually on NYPD, not NYPD Blue, Blue Bloods.
Oh, okay.
Right now, and he was the really big guy in Sopranos. And he was really fat then. He's not as fat now. But he was on Joe Rogan and said that the day before they locked down New York, he went to a concert. And it was Jackson Browne, and Jackson Browne got sick. Did you hear that?
No,
I didn't hear that at all. But he said he absolutely got very, very sick, but he didn't know if it was was COVID.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Yeah. I had a colleague who I had met on a business trip. This was in middle of February before they closed everything down.
Yeah.
Who also got violently ill after that, and I thought, well, I don't know, nobody else in the room there got sick, so
I don't know anyone that thankfully I don't know anyone that has gotten it. But I do know, like you said, a tremendous number of people that got crazy sick in January.
Yeah.
So and nobody knows. Antibody tests are still spotty.
Yeah.
But nobody knows if they had it or not. But.
Yeah, because there's that lag because we don't even know the effect of the strip has only been open going on 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
So we should start, and then the people who are here, the tourists they're leaving, and they go back and they bring it with them. It was the same thing we saw in Florida, right? With at spring break when they were irresponsible, they did not close the beaches. Some people got sick and went back to their home state. They went back to New York. But now, of course, you're looking at Florida possibly being the epicenter of the next wave.
Of the next one, because they shut down all their restaurants again.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing. So, Janie from Twitter, thanks for that question. Social distancing is a no-go for parking.
Yeah.
Number 3, is there an official COVID drink? Now, I had to look this up carefully.
Yeah.
For one reason, you got to be real careful about what you say.
Yeah.
I have to say,
besides Corona beer, is there?
Besides Corona beer, there are 2 that you can find in Las Vegas. One is a wine Sprite lemonade punch, and the other one is a pretty standard cocktail. I'll tell you about those in a second.
I suppose they don't have one that has bleach in it, right? I mean, because
right, or
disinfectant,
Purell, right? And this comes from Jan from Facebook. So many, apparently it's still too soon to say things. Now I saw something that I'm going to risk it, but I have to say it because I think it's really funny. Is if you're a dog lover, we have a dog right here in the studio.
Yeah.
And somebody got just torn to shreds. I'm sure they did. They said Black Labs matter. Now I'm sorry. That's very funny. It's just funny. Now it may be too soon, and it probably is too soon.
Well, the other irony is that black animals like black cats are always the last ones selected at the pound. I don't know why. They're beautiful.
And
animals.
That's very true. That's very true. It's very telling, and that's a whole discussion that I don't. I don't want to get into that. But the COVID stuff, you got to be careful because I don't know if you know, but the CrossFit president is now no longer the president or part of the board because he referred to it as what did he say? He said in reference to Black Lives Matter and COVID, he combined them and he said Floyd 19 in reference to something else. And it was just an off the cuff tweet, which Twitter should be banned. All of it. They all should be banned.
Nobody should have a Twitter account.
And he said, referred to Floyd 19. He's now lost his job, lost his board seat, lost everything. CrossFit is moments away from being a history. Yeah. And it's very sad, very sad. But either way, I did find them. The first one is called the Pandemic Punch. And it's wine, lemonade, Sprite, sugar, lemons and limes if you want to.
And phlegm? Is there anything?
No, John. So Pandemic Punch. You can find the stuff online. So they haven't banned it yet. And the other one I thought was very, very clever. It's the COVID-19.
Oh, that's good.
It's very clever.
That is clever.
It's a martini, of any flavor really. So Jan, yes, these aren't official Las Vegas drinks. I don't think they're official drinks at all. But they do exist here in Vegas. The COVID-19 and the Pandemic Punch. Don't ask me where to find them.
Some place it's closed, right?
Right. Number 4. And this comes from Jerry from Twitter. A lot of them from Twitter. Will the Tropicana reopen? I don't know. See, I looked into it. The Tropicana, of course, and the M Resort were purchased by the same company, Penn National, and they have just announced within the last few days a Q1 quarter one revenue loss of 13%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for those particular properties, that's a very concerning number. Yeah. They have been asked this question both on social media and directly with the news, and they do not answer it. They don't.
So they're both so close. I didn't even think about the M. Gee, that's the one that's closest here, and I like the M. I think it's a nice hotel.
It's a beautiful hotel.
Yeah. It's got a great. Like I said, the buffet there was second to none.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful place. Yeah. It's too far. Location. It started off as becoming a wonderful resort. Then it notched down to a locals. Now it's notched down to you could fire a cannon off, which is very sad. Tropicana has a storied history. Yeah. Talking to a young lady.
Follies Bergère. How many times did we book
Follies
that?
Bergère. Oh my gosh, yeah. And talking,
Topless show.
Yes, 10:30.
10:30.
And that means you can see the stars, right?
That's right. Yeah. They open the roof.
I was talking to a young lady regarding comedy clubs, and she said, "I can't wait to go back to the Tropicana, to enjoy the comedy club." Yeah,
they had a good comedy club.
And I kind of, was a little chagrined, and I said, "Oh gosh, maybe not," and so that's when I looked this up. Yeah. But we cannot confirm or deny that either the M or the Trop will reopen. The M, I think, has a better shot, to tell you the truth.
Might so. Now, I know that the Paris just opened yesterday.
Yes.
We talk about. Yeah. So they were later, and Mandalay Bay is supposed to open July 1st.
Yes. Interesting move by the Paris Ballets, I guess. And I don't know. I might have waited. For the 4th. I know they want to get things ready. That's why they are opening early, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, of course, we would all like this to be over. We'd all like it to never to have happened. But it did, and it's still here, and we can't ignore it, as much as there's certain people in power who want us to, don't look behind the curtain.
Right. And if we get an antivirus, if we get a shot, an inoculation, prior to or right at the beginning of summer of next year, that will be the fastest anything like that has been produced ever.
Yeah.
Which some scientists and doctors are concerned.
Sure.
Yeah, and they should be, of the efficacy of the shot itself. But it's interesting who's making what decision here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Every city can have this podcast, I think, and talk about it. But Vegas is just one of those things, It's like, oh, Paris, oh, man.
Yeah, because you think about it. I mean, you look at software, you look at some application, and when it gets rushed, it's full of bugs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But what's the worst thing that can happen, right? It crashed. I got to restart it. I lost the file.
Right.
But when you're talking about a vaccine, either it's not work or there's side effects that can be deadly.
Right.
You really it's really hard to rush something like that.
It is. It is, because the vaccine itself could injure.
Yeah.
And it is.
Because really, what it is with a vaccine, you're looking basically at a diluted form of the illness itself.
Yeah.
And you give it, that's it. You introduce it to the system, and then it builds up antibodies or immunity to it.
Right.
So that when it does come into the system, it detects it and it can fight it off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jerry, thank you for that regarding the Trop. We hope it does.
Yeah.
And the M2, but the Tropicana has such a wonderful history. We
really it does. I mean, it's pathetic.
It's just right there,
sad.
On LDB.
The restaurants there are shit.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean,
Right.
I went in there, and I remember I was going to go to the T-Mobile, and I park at the Trop because there was free parking, but better than that, even I can get out of the parking lot faster.
Sure.
I mean, it's a haul. You got to walk. It takes 10, 15 minutes, right, to walk. But by the time I get to the car, I get in the car and boom, I'm right on the freeway in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Pull right out. So I parked there. So I said, well, I'm going to patronize the Trop. So I go in there and say, no, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing here I could that's besides the food court.
The last time it was taken over, when they changed their theme to red and white, basically.
Yeah.
They revamped their pool, and it was very nice. Yeah. It is very nice. But that's not enough. A pool, especially for 3 to 6 months, that can get you revenue. But yeah, they definitely need help if they can get over the COVID hump. So
they got a great location. I mean,
oh my gosh,
very good. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there particularly if you're going to an event at the T-Mobile.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good place to stay.
So Chris from Podbean. Yeah. Thanks, Chris, for a question. Are slots looser during the opening? Well,
somebody hit a big jackpot like the first day.
The first day, which I honestly think was a coincidence. I don't think they geared anything like that.
600,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and good for that person.
Yeah.
Are they looser? I can always say, refer to this question or answer this question anecdotally. I know that another Chris from Faces and Aces podcast, he originates in California.
Yeah.
He came over recently, enjoyed a great trip. And based on his posts and all of that, he did quite well. So he won.
Good.
He even got hand pays, which are larger than normal. Where the little lady has to pop out of a little tiny cave and come see you.
Yeah.
But it's are they looser? I believe they are. If you believe that statistically speaking, that machines can be looser. We've had this discussion before because I have colleagues that are in the game design business, and they say it's just not. It is what it is. There's no looser or tighter. It's just what it is. It's math.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. It really just depends. But if it is possible, I would recommend that the casinos make a little bit looser. So people can really feel good about being here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chris is when he comes here quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but he kind of reminds me the way he traveled when I was growing up, how I was closer living to Reno than I was Las Vegas. And I knew adults would go there to play and whatever, every few months. I think Chris probably comes a little more often than that. I think, I'm not sure, but
he did, yeah,
in the past
absolutely.
before that, yeah. But he's kind of the dying breed, I think, of somebody who comes here and it partakes of all of it. I mean, the gambling and the gaming and like that.
Right.
Well, from Southern Cal, I mean, people come for different reasons, but
I mean, a lot of it, of course, is to report, observe and report for his own podcast. But from what I've had conversations with him. From what he tells me, you're right. That is what he likes. He likes to eat. He likes to gamble. He likes to experience. I know he did the virtual gaming thing over at the MGM. So yeah, absolutely. But are they looser? I hope so.
Yeah.
I can't tell you if they are though. This question didn't come from any one person. They came from almost everybody that wrote into our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
How are the crowds? Well, they're still light, but they're growing. But as we discussed earlier, the people that are coming are foregoing the practices that have been requested by each place. Masks are being tossed aside. I see the silliest thing. I see it in not just Las Vegas, but I saw it personally in Las Vegas. I've seen news reports and video and stills and of people standing within 6 feet and well within 6 feet with the mask hanging on one ear.
Yeah, like a bra strap. That's what they should have had. They should have made
to
like
another
a bra
person
strap.
in the same mode. And I would people.
What's the point?
Yeah, what's And again, if you do or do not believe the numbers are going up, or if you do or do not believe that the numbers that they're saying are going up are the right numbers, a lot of people say that cases don't matter, hospitalizations do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are vice versa, and so on and so forth. And most people agree that death is death, and that's bad.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why people, whether it's true or not, there's something going on. And why not try a little harder if you want places to remain open, like the entire state of Florida?
Yeah.
And our famous little town here.
Better to be 6 feet apart than 6 feet under.
Right.
And maybe you're going to be fine, but maybe you infect somebody else who won't be fine.
And I know going to the grocery store and running errands and so on and so forth, I get back to the car and with a giant sigh of relief, I tear off that mask, I know how it feels. And especially in a hot area like this.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be closer than 6 feet anyway. I mean, people, I don't know what's with people.
It's funny also in the way that it's become a political statement. If I go to Trader Joe's, the market, almost everybody wears a mask.
Yeah.
And the staff there, I mean, they are on top of everything.
Right.
With the, they allow so many people in the store and they say, well, we got to sanitize the carts. Few more, just wait until we get a couple ready. Mm-hmm. And they have procedures. But you go to the Sprouts market, which you say is kind of similar. They kind of, no, that's the right wing market. That's the one that has the flyers about preserving the right to work statutes,
right.
And you go in there and maybe half of the people when I look in there are actually wearing a mask.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, and it's probably not going to protect you, and you don't know if you're sick. You may as well just be
We
safe.
don't know anything. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So to answer everyone's question, how are the crowds? They're improving.
Yeah.
But they're not, they're doing bad things. And I think it's going to cause a, warranted or not, it's going to cause another shutdown. I think Las Vegas is going to experience maybe not a full, lock the cage door and tell people to stay away again. But, just like Florida, just like Arizona.
Yeah.
They're
Texas
going to,
too.
instead of letting all the restaurants open, they're going to say, if you don't deliver or have takeaway, you can't open. And that's what they did in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure why Arizona spiked so badly. I'm sure there are many theories, but we don't want that to happen. So do what you're supposed to do. So yes, the crowds are getting better, and we're all thrilled about that.
Yeah. But, there was the phase 3 has been delayed, right?
Yes.
The governor has said we're not ready for phase 3.
And we're not. Not if people ignore stuff.
No.
So Stephen, with a direct email, thank you, Stephen. And this is more of a shout out for me.
Yeah.
He said, I saw your shot on the Hard Rock trucks. Great shot. Thank you very much. And he said, how sad was that job? And I said, it wasn't sad till I was done. I didn't realize what I was shooting until I started editing those shots. What Steven is talking about is that if you don't remember, I'm a commercial photographer by trade, and I was working with the Hard Rock International. And as everybody knows, I can't imagine people don't know, but Hard Rock has rock memorabilia.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it in the hotels and the restaurants and the cafes and so on. Well, Virgin, old Sir Branson, or Sir Richard came over, bought that, and they had to move everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's taken this long to move it.
Yeah.
And so they had me come over and shoot that whole process. They want to make sure that everybody understands what it takes to move all this stuff. Everything from Jimi Hendrix's last jacket to Jerry Garcia's ponytail, Prince's clown.
Did he take a strand of hair?
I did not. Ponytail? I did not.
Maybe we could clone.
Yeah, Prince's clown guitar, Nine Inch Nails keyboard, and so on, all the way down to the door pulls, the chrome guitars that you would pull the front doors with. And so packed them all up, put them in the trucks, and they wanted to get this shot of the trucks going past the Las Vegas sign to welcome, well, actually, thank you for coming, going that direction, saying they will be back. And they absolutely will be back.
I heard that the Hard Rock might have plans to open another hotel.
Yes.
Now, in the location they had, I mean, I liked the Hard Rock for the concerts I went to, the festivals, because it was free parking, always nice to get in and out. It was pretty easy. It wasn't in the most desirable part of town.
Right.
To say it mildly, I mean, it's not that far from the strip, but but things kind of go downhill in a hurry.
Yeah.
Within a couple blocks, it was kind of a shitty location.
Right.
And I remember, like with the MGM, right? I mean, they had the fire, so they wanted to distance themselves quite literally. So they sold it to Bally's and opened up down the street,
right,
a brand new one. So maybe the Hard Rock will do something like that.
Well, they're only represented by one place now in town, the Hard Rock Cafe on the Strip. Great folks over there. Good concerts as well. Yeah. But to answer Steven's question, was it sad? Again, not until I started editing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They're leaving. I mean, and it was a very interesting process the way they do. They actually, a young man that I met, he's actually the director, curator of memorabilia. They actually have a person that's in charge of all this. And if you think about the worldwide the footprint that Hard Rock has. Yeah, of course they have a person to do that. Yeah. But it was a lot of trucks. And
I think they had 5. I mean, we're not talking like U-Haul.
No, they're full rigs.
Full rigs, 5 of them.
Yeah. And it was a really cool experience for me. You can see it on, just put in Hard Rock Moves Memorabilia or Hard Rock Memorabilia. And NBC had it, CBS had it, AP, and Google News feed had it for a day or so. So just put it in there and you'll see the story. But
I'm sure he really lucked out though, didn't he? I mean, Branson.
Yeah.
The hotel was going to be closed pretty much all year. Mm-hmm. From January, they had the New Year's party. I think they closed right after that. And they weren't going to open again until like November with the rebranding and everything. So you know how it is. They're like, gee, all this is going on. I'm losing all this business.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. And they are sticking by that November date. Yeah. I mean, they're going to do it.
And also the big one downtown, Derek Stevens' big monster. The what's it called? Circa.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah. That's supposed to open October 28th, or parts of it, not the whole thing.
But I've not heard any updates on that one.
Yeah. He mentioned this the other day that they're going to open the world's largest sports book. Three-story sports book.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I got free beer, I'll be there.
Right.
Or cheap beer anyway.
Exactly.
I'll have to be free.
But thanks for that question, Stephen. I had a wonderful time, and hopefully, if you're listening, check into those
one
shots.
time I went to the Hard Rock. I think I've mentioned this in one of the podcasts before, and they had a display of Gojira's stuff. I thought, wow, that's cool. Look, there's Gojira's drum kit. There's drumsticks. There's Gojira's jacket.
Right.
Holy shit, there's Gojira. They were there too. They were looking at their own stuff and they were taking their own pictures.
Yeah.
And because hey, we made it, man. If you have your stuff on display in the Hard Rock.
I know. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, number 8. Yeah. Don from Twitter. See, I told you, a lot of Twitter. And I think Twitter should go away. I absolutely do.
I don't have a Twitter account.
Well, what is there really to do in Vegas? I put this on here because as we've said, it's open-ish.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's funny. As for research for this question, I just put that question in Google. Let's see what happens. And only not one article that I saw, Thrillist, and Google News in general, and all different types of things, travel and leisure, not one of them mentioned the casino.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And honestly, as I started to think about it, neither would I. But that's not fair because that's kind of how we make our money. But yeah, come for the gaming. But you can only you can only gamble so much. Yeah. Well, most people. So here's a little list: outdoor activities, of course. Red Rock, Valley of Fire. Red Rock may not be open yet. I think it's it's coming up to the date of open. Valley of Fire is open. Lake Mead is open. Yeah. Valley of Fire, Mount Charleston is open. Yeah. All wonderful places to go. Speed Vegas, if you're interested in driving a really fast car or being driven. Yeah. That's open. I thought that was an interesting one to open because how do you do the 6 feet from the driver? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe sit in the back seat with a glass.
And something that people love to death, Topgolf just opened.
Yes, they did. They just opened. I saw that on the news.
That's great. High Roller is open. Yeah. If you need a nap.
Yeah.
A 35-minute nap.
Best bargain though, in terms of attractions, it's like 30. It takes like 30 minutes to do that whole circuit. It's pretty.
And I said this actually when Julia was on the show. I referred to it as the sad Circus Adventure Dome, which is open.
It's open now. Yeah.
Yes, it's open. Yeah. And Topgolf, Speed Vegas, High Roller, Adventure Dome, they are all having
the shows haven't opened obviously
discounts.
Because that was supposed to be part of phase 3.
Right, phase 3 of the shows. Yeah. No dice.
No dice.
Or just dice.
Just dice. That's right.
But all these places are having great discounts. Yeah. Restaurants are having discounts. Was a little sad to see that some restaurants are floating the idea of a COVID tax, if you will, COVID extra charge for all the efforts they are making. And I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? I
don't know either.
You're going to pay an extra $2 because they supposedly sprayed off your table? I don't know.
Well, yeah, why don't they just you microwave the food, right?
Yeah.
We killed it. We're going to spray the food with it.
I'm against it because
the prices of things have gone way up anyway.
Yeah, they've gone way up.
Wow. Yeah. I have noticed that.
Yeah.
At the stores.
Absolutely. On every industry. I went to get something for a hot tub. Yeah. And it was like 4 times the price. Yeah. Well, how were you affected by COVID? I need chemicals. I don't need, Yeah. But
maybe people were drinking them, right? I mean.
Yeah. But that was just a couple examples of what there is to do here in Vegas other than visit the casinos.
Yeah. Now the Mob Museum.
Mob Museum is open.
Yes, right. They open.
They are.
That's
open.
right.
Absolutely.
They open. Because I was thinking about some of those other attractions like the Titanic exhibit and CIS. They've got a MGM. Well, of course, MGM's not open yet, but those places, I guess, I don't even know if they're open. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, Mob Museum can't say enough about it. Their presentation is really spectacular. A wonderful mix of technology and old school stuff in the courthouse where the mob trials happened. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you're a mob kind of cat. It's the best place to go. Yeah. So easy. Park over at the D or the Grand. Yeah. Walk across the street. It's right there. It's fantastic. So,
and it's about the mob, not just their ties to Las Vegas.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of places they don't want to be associated with that. No, Las Vegas is the opposite. They like it. Yeah. They like all the dirt they can get. Even somebody else's dirt, we'll take it.
Oh yeah, and way back.
So they were like sin eaters.
Yeah. Right. And they actually have the actual courtroom where the Estes Kefauver trials were.
Wow.
And they start basically at that time frame all the way up to current. I mean, they're talking about the strangely sex trafficking and drugs and cartels.
Elliot, what's his name?
Yeah. So Mob Museum, go do that. When you lose the $20 that you brought to throw in the slot machine.
Yeah. And the other thing is for things like Fremont Street is open, is if there are things that you wanted to see and it was always too crowded or whatever. Yeah, it's good. It's not as crowded, right? I mean, there's still, I mean, obviously there's people, it's just not as, and that's the other thing was when they say, well, we're going to limit the hotel occupancy to whatever, 35%. Well, yeah, okay, great. But really, who's in their room? They'll just sleep there.
Yeah.
And with a city like this, that's always open 24 hours. Yeah, you may have the occupancy. You're still going to have a lot of people in the hotel. They're just not staying there.
Yeah.
They're staying at another hotel, but they want to come in and look.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. So Don, great question, and hopefully that answered that. And as things pop up and they're available to do, we'll try to include those in the next show. Let's see, Claudia from Instagram of all things. I like Instagram. It's a little bit better.
Pictures.
Yeah, it's pictures.
Yeah, I don't have an Instagram account either.
No, it's okay. You're 15% from being off the grid.
Yeah.
Right. Except for that pesky driver's license.
Yeah. I'm kind of an urban hermit. That's how I consider myself.
There you go. I like that. Yeah. Oh, that's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah.
Number 9 from Claudia. Do you feel safe? I feel no more or less safe than any person in this nation or planet for that matter. Now, John and I are both really not frequent visitors to Las Vegas Boulevard and what it offers, but I am more so than John now.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel safe, but I avoid what I feel looks unsafe, like the plague. Pardon the pun. I as I get more and more back into what I do for a living, I will be more and more exposed, if you will, to people not following the rules. And that does bother me in advance. It's on my mind.
Yeah.
But I have never felt unsafe in Las Vegas. I just haven't. I went to the grocery store properly in the height of the problem. I traveled internationally from Mexico back to Las Vegas during the beginning of the problem. Now, I even rode in an Uber where nobody wore a mask. And I never felt unsafe. I just see things that make me upset about our visitors and our locals not following what should be very simple. Why don't you just do it? You know, how do you feel?
Yeah. Oh no, exactly. I mean, because the way this virus is spread is again, you don't know where people have been or what surfaces they've touched or whatever. And if they're careful and they wash their hands like they're supposed to, chances are they're fine. But you don't know if they're being reckless and they're probably not taking proper precautions.
Yeah.
And they really should, just because, granted, you might not get sick. That's the really insidious thing about this particular virus. That's why I don't understand. I mean, to me, it's just like the TSA checks. We know what a bunch of bullshit that is. If you really want to get a gun or a knife through that, you're going to get it through, right? I mean, when they test it, those things get through all the time. But the temperature checks, it's not an indication of anything. Somebody's got a temperature. Well, so maybe they do. Yeah. Doesn't mean that they're infected. But more than likely, there's people who are contagious who don't have a temperature.
Right.
You know. So
yeah, it's. I know that the WHO recently made an announcement and then a qualification and retraction of that announcement regarding. There's two different terms that they use. For someone that is showing symptoms, asymptomatic.
Yeah.
Or they're symptomatic, asymptomatic, and pre-symptomatic.
Yeah.
Well, they came out and talked about asymptomatic.
Yeah.
And not being able to transfer the virus, and while also discussing pre-symptomatic.
Yeah. They haven't started showing the symptoms.
Exactly.
Yet, but they will.
And they confused even doctors, and so they had to come back on and say, okay. They should never have scientists give the status reports. They should have marketing people do it and have the scientists just sit there and nod if they're right.
Yeah.
But that's another, you're right. Temperature is not a gauge. Temperature may mean you actively have the virus. And really, what are you doing?
Or something else.
Yeah, or something else. You could have a everyday cold,
Or any other kind of
which is what it is anyway.
Yeah.
But strangely, I think, and I know a lot of people agree, we need we need to get sick. We need to build up. We need to get that herd going.
Yeah.
Because it really is, really scientifically and epidemiologically, the only way to get rid of it. I mean, the vaccine is great, but the reason we don't have a giant influenza problem in the United States, which we kind of do, but is because of the herd thing. And people constantly getting the shots and bulking up their systems. And, but unfortunately, a lot of our classic diseases are coming back because people aren't doing the herd thing.
Dr. Fauci, there was an interview I saw with him yesterday where, and it's really coming to bite us in the ass, this whole anti-science.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, it starts with climate change because they're in denial about that. So, and we all know how the right wing works. They depend on, their pawns and their minions are those evangelicals who don't believe in any science because it refutes their belief system. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to believe in vaccines. They're not going, even when they did a public opinion poll, one of the more reputable ones, Gallup or Pew Research, and they'd ask people, when they come out with the vaccine, are you going to get it? And there were some that said no. Now, I mean, again, I'm just talking about if I understand, hey, I'm going to wait to make sure that it's safe. But other than that, no, I'm not going to get one.
Yeah, let's see what happens to Jim first.
Yes. Yeah, how you feeling there, Jim? You seeing spots in front of your eyes? You breathing okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how do your balls feel, Jim? That's what I really want to know.
I agree. But do I feel safe? Yes, and I think you feel safe too. Yeah. We live here, so it's you feel you have to, or you drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Now, number 10. I'm going to direct this right at you, John.
All right.
This is the reason I said Jim was it's Jim from Facebook wrote this question. Should we wait to come see Vegas?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I think you should wait.
Tell us, John.
Yes.
Tell us why.
Yes. Well, because we need to wait until, again, the same thing with that vaccine. Oh, wait. Hey, did your balls shrivel up or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They were fine yesterday. Today they're like raisins. Yeah. So yeah, we need to wait until this thing. To me, you're right. Not enough stuff is open for somebody to come.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could come and not get sick because of all of this.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think that's really the issue, but just you're missing. It's just like when you go to Disneyland and there's just a lot of attractions aren't open because they're being fixed or something. It's just like, oh shit, I wanted to go on that one. It's never the stuff that you don't want to see, right? It's never those little kiddie cars or whatever it is, or the dancing bears.
Right.
They could go ahead and close that, or the Mark Twain Island, right? Or the Huckman Island, or whatever that was. So
that's
it's just
the
like
Country Bear Jamboree.
That's what it was.
John.
Yeah.
You Disney hater, you.
Yeah. Go take a shit in the woods, bears. Right. But anyhow, I mean, if you're coming out here, just like there wasn't a lot open, so it's Las Vegas. When in the full heat of Las Vegas, is a social environment. There's clubs and this and that, and we always talk about what comes here stays here. Right. There's a lot of socializing going on, and social distancing or physical distancing, but kind of puts that wet towel on it to a point. So some things, wait until the shows open up or something like that. Because if I say, I'm going to come here, I can go to a restaurant, but that was people would come when we were at the concierge. What shows are there? People want to see a show. Did you go to Las Vegas? Yeah. What show did you see? It almost comes, they collocate. There's that question, how much did you win? How much did you lose? These are questions you always hear when you think about Las Vegas. What show did you see? Well, there aren't any open.
Yeah, I think we predominantly fielded what are the shows? What entertainment options do I have?
Yeah.
It wasn't, where's the craps table? Although we got that too.
Yeah.
But
because you can't miss that. Right?
Most people who are here for gaming get it.
Yeah.
They're like, I go to the pit, I throw my money down, they take my money, and I go eat.
Yeah, right.
And so, but the shows are what need to come back. So how long should Jim wait? How long? What are you going to tell our folks? We have a lot of people that rely on this.
Yeah.
How long should they wait? And is it wait to have more options?
January.
Yeah. Okay.
With CES around that time. Because first of all, there's no sense coming in December. Everything's closed anyway.
Yeah.
Right? We know that from the past. People would get angry at us. Well, nobody told me it was going to be dark for 3 weeks. Well, did you ask? You know, and that information even back then was available online if you looked. But but the shows go down and they go on hiatus in December. Yep. There's nothing in town but the rodeo. You know?
Yeah. And they're not spending any money.
And they don't spend any money. So January you start getting CES, and they did announce they're supposed to have CES here in person.
Yeah, you know what? And I was shocked. Because that's a big one.
That's a big one.
I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. But more power to them. Good for them.
And you know, there was a rumor that was shot down, apparently, that they thought that maybe CES was ground zero because so many people showed up and then they left and maybe went to New York and went back to New York and they carried it with them from Las Vegas. But they've shown now, because they can trace the genetic markers of the COVID-19, that in New York, where it really exploded, that it came from Europe.
Yeah.
In California, I believe it came from Asia. Yeah. But not Las Vegas. So
yeah. Well, you know, you know, the Asian territories and Europe for sure. You know, I have no doubt. I didn't hear that about CES. That's
there was somebody was saying that maybe that's where it was because it was January and then things started happening in February.
It's an interesting hat in the ring. I never even thought about that. That's interesting.
But I heard that.
Well, Jim, do I agree with John? I do to a point. It depends on what you want to do. Yeah. For again, our buddy over there at Faces and Aces, Chris came over, had a wonderful time. Yeah, won money.
He doesn't go to shows.
Right? He does not go to shows, generally speaking.
Generally, yeah.
So he had a great time. I guess I have to qualify what John said by saying, what type of Vegas visitor are you?
Yeah, if you just want a game, you may as well come now.
And do it.
And you get cheap room rates. That's
really cheap room rates
right now.
And you get some distancing. You know, the crowds aren't as big, obviously, nowhere near as big. But if you're looking for the adult Disneyland that we used to be, and maybe will be again,
clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what happens in 2021 and see what can come back. We're losing a lot. John and I were talking in the pre-show about what's recently lost. Sin City Brewery, all 4 locations gone. Yeah, they announced on Twitter. Very sad. I could not find if they're going to continue brewing because they had an order basis for their beers. But very sad. They're all gone. Planet Hollywood, Venetian. Yeah. I mean, obviously their rents were probably astronomical.
Yeah.
But you know, we have to see who's left.
Yeah, and then like 24-hour fitness, which isn't just obviously out on the Strip, but locally, I think they had 21 locations and they closed 18 of them.
18, yeah. And of course we're going through the tragic pandemic unemployment insurance situation here for all of our gig workers.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened, but Las Vegas was dead last in dealing with that. And only 41% of the people have gotten their claims. Yeah. Terrible situation.
Yeah. And they have to do a better job with, it kind of, you know, really, you realize that really starting with the war, starting with Ronald Reagan's war on unions, that when you start when you start not giving people benefits and they are pretty much left to float on their own, when something like this happens, and it was bound to happen eventually, everything kind of just takes a big, massive dump.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much my profession and what I do wasn't affected at all. Yeah. I work from home anyway. So my neighbors, you know, he's got a regular job. He started working from home. He had an office. It's only a couple of miles from here. Yeah. But nevertheless, we are not affected in terms of our employment because we're not tied into that. But we're kind of, you know, a minority in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, sure, certain industries, it's business as usual.
Yeah.
But other ones, you know, it's tough.
It affects me directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So come if what we have available is what you like, you can have a great time.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting more, I'd wait. I'd wait, and that's just the easy answer. But keep track of what we talk about, and we'll try to give you what's the newest updates. Something every day.
Yeah,
it's not all good news.
Yeah,
it's rarely good news.
And if you don't like heat, don't come next week.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like 109.
109.
I think. Yeah,
110. Well, thank you everybody. Great questions. I always enjoy these. We hope we answered everything to your liking. If not, please leave a comment, and I'll be glad to elaborate on anything that you would like. Again, if you're interested in those masks, I'll see if we can be the middleman for you. Like I said, I believe they're $10 a piece, but I'll update that if you give me a message, and we'll look into that for everybody. If you like this episode, hit that like button. We would really appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're on all the major formats, Podbean, iTunes, and so on. And although John and I rail against all of them, we're on all the social media areas, so please connect to us there as well. But again, thank you for all the wonderful questions. We'll put together another one of these real soon, and we will update everything that's happening for all of our Las Vegas fans. For John, this is Jamey, and we will see you very, very soon.